Hello and welcome to episode number 2 for Investing with an Edge. Today's episode will talk about NFL betting systems, angles, parameters that should give an edge when making wagers on NFL games. I got 6 NFL systems today, and these 6 have 5 plays for this weekend, week NFL number 2. Guaranteed 2 for next week, probably more, and probably 50 or 60 minimum throughout the entire season this year. So without further ado, let's go through each angle. When you hear them, does it make psychological sense? If it does, then they're probably onto something. If it doesn't, then it might just be random variance. But the first one has a lot of sample size plays. A lot. It's a simple one. You got a road team. They lose on the road, which occurs 58.5% of the time in the NFL, and they play the next week again on the road. Well, if that happens, 2 consecutive road games in 2 weeks, and they lose the first one, on the second game, 565 wins, 466 losses against the spread. That's good for about almost 55%, or about a 5% return on investment on standard lines. That's good. 55% is good, especially with like 1,000 play sample size. That's good. Not amazing, but good. But putting this into more perspective. From 1985 to 2002, it was 321 wins, 310 losses, which meant it was barely over 500. Normal variance for law of average, and because it's close to 50%, it was down 3% return on investment, but since 03. 244 wins, 156 losses. That's 400 winning or losing plays. That's 61%. Random variance on coin flips doesn't allow that, which is what point spread is really a coin flip. To put that into perspective, I did 5,000 random sets of 400 coin flips, which is like 2 million coin flips. And the most any set had on either side was 236 wins, which is still lower than the 244 wins in this spot. It's not random. It works out very, very well. It's been winning every year since 2003. I expect it to win this year. 3 plays this week on this system. Jacksonville taking 6 in Washington. New England laying 3 in Minnesota. Tom Brady himself is 9-2 on the system. And New Orleans laying 6.5 against Cleveland. Drew Brees 6-3 as a Saint within this system. System number 2. Playing any team who lost last week straight up as a favorite of 7 points or higher. 210 wins, 155 losses, 57.5%. Key thing is, you get your ass kicked, you get pissed off, you come out the next week and you play better. You also got the fans that are dogging them for losing. They lose respect. The point spread, you get a generous point spread that way. And the larger they lose, the better it works. And the larger they're favored by it, the better it works as well. So within this situation, Chicago was a 7-point underdog against Buffalo last week. So it's in play. This week, Chicago goes to San Francisco. 7-point underdogs there. Play the Bears. Interesting thing here, Chicago's also on the road next week. So regardless of who wins, there's another system angle. A, Chicago wins. Well, then this same system would be on San Francisco next week. B, San Francisco wins outright. Well, then you play Chicago again next week on the 2 road games in a row system. Number 3, no plays on this one this week. Play on any team who won last week straight up as an underdog by 12 points or more. It's playing against any team who won last week as 12-point underdogs. 37 wins, 18 losses, 67%. Number 4. Play on any team who's off of a bye week who lost as a 3-point favorite outright the week before. 55 wins, 38 losses, 59%. Number 5. Play any team excluding favorites of 6.5 or less, which is underdogs and big favorites 7 or higher, who scored 6 points or less in its previous game, but were projected to score 22. 48 wins, 19 losses, 71.6%. Now, how do you know what they're projected to get? Half the total, subtract half the spread. Simple as that. And that's what they're projected to get. Last week, the St. Louis Rams were projected to score about 23 points and change, so 24. And they They scored 6, so it's in play. 48 wins, 19 losses. The system is on St. Louis +6 this weekend in Tampa Bay. Final angle. Play any team whom allowed 31 or more points in his previous game, but were only projected to allow 18 or less. 175 wins, 119 losses, 59.5% against the spread. Next week, or this week and next week, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, and Indianapolis both play back-to-back road games. So if any of those 4 teams happen to lose outright, then that system's on them next week. And next week's episode 3 will be about long shot odds, super long shot, lottery-like odds. I will tell you, if it's a good investment, to bet on the lottery. You might be surprised what my answer happens to be. So stay tuned for that next weekend. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Bye-bye.